So, there are these two brothers. Let us call them Ernie and Tony, for it is easier that way. They are the sons of Oedipus, who, as you may know, had problems. Now, these two brothers recently did fight on opposing sides of bitter war, and both in their lust for power were killed. So now, the new ruler is this guy Creon, who is the brother-in-law of Oedipus, as well as, sort of, his uncle, and, well, it's complicated. Creon has decreed that Ernie, who fought at his side, shall be given a proper hero's burial, in accordance with the wishes of the gods, while Tony, who fought on the other side, shall lie in disgrace on the battlefield, where his corpse shall rot, and be dined upon by dogs, and birds, and whatever other animals happen to be around. But wait, who approaches? It is Antigone, daughter and half-sister of Oedipus, sister of Ernie and Tony, as well as Ismene, sister of Antigone, daughter and half-sister of Oedipus, sister of Ernie and Tony, sons and half-brothers of Oedipus.
Ismene, my dear sister, partner in misery, you alone can understand my heart. To be human is to suffer, to breathe is to cry, to live is to die. But this is ridiculous. Oh, how cruelly Zeus has treated us in our brief lives.
And all because of Dad and his lifestyle choices.
No, it's no choice. The sting of fate. And now the king and state are turned against us too. Our uncle Creon, throne of Thebes, has codified our pain and anguish. Our agony is an endless night. The sun refused to rise upon our fallen brother, taken from us by our other brother.
Oh, the pain, Antigone, the terrible pain. My heart is a landscape of madness, cratered by the impact of our mutual shame, the degradation oozing from our souls like so much pus from the wounds of our father's gouged out eyes.
Exactly. And now Creon has decreed proper rites and burial for Ernie, while Tony lies unburied and unwept, a welcome larder for pests and vermin. You probably heard the chorus talking about it.
I heard something about dogs and birds.
The dogs and birds who eat our brother.
Oh, the agony, the unhappiness.
The rotting flesh.
The putrid smell.
The smell, thick in the air, thick as the blood from our father's eyes.
Only we know that pain.
I have a proposition.
Lay it on me.
Join hands with me, dear sister. Let us survey the desolate battlefield. Let us find poor Tony's pungent corpse and bury him in accordance with the wishes of the gods.
Whoa. Time out. This is exactly what Creon said not to do.
Big deal.
Consider the fate of our father, Oedipus.
Remind me.
Once a man of honor, he died an object of hatred. He who repaired to sinful bed with his own mother.
Unknowingly, that is an important detail.
Then with his own hands, he did his sockets disembowel. After which his wife, who was also his mother, who was also our mother, who was also our grandmother, did take her own life in despair. Oh, misery, unhappiness. I've got the blues. But never believe our suffering so acute it can't get worse. I fear the king just as I fear the gods, for both hold power over my survival. I shall beg forgiveness of our departed family, but until we're joined in Hades' halls, I shall obey the laws of men.
You shall never see Tony in the next world if his remains are not properly sanctified in this one.
You shall never see me in this one if you properly sanctify Tony's remains. If you do this thing, soon yours will be the rotting corpse Lord Creon forbids from burial. And then I shall have to intercede, and then who will bury my rotting corpse?
Sorry, we're busy that day.
I will not do this thing without your blessing. for my act will impact you deeply, much like the impact of the blade thrust into our mother's heart.
You have my blessing, Antigone. May the armor of your integrity be grazed only by the dull blade of sisterhood. Though I must remind you, you are engaged to Herman, son of Creon.
Oh, shit. That guy.
He likes you a lot.
When you got it, you got it.
Creon being your uncle, Herman is our cousin. Yeah. Creon being our great uncle, Herman is also our cousin once removed.
I know. I get it.
It's weird.
Okay. I shall venture alone then to Tony's mutilated carcass, sprinkle earth properly upon him, and hang the consequences. If I die, them's the breaks. We are enthralled to men on earth for such a short time, but we spend eternity with the gods and dead. I may find wrath from Thebes, but favor from Olympus. For I defend my choices not to kings who come and go like so much noise, but to gods who are eternal and have their own mountain. And now, with your blessing, beloved sister, I have a brother's rotting body to bury.
Oh, my sister. My brothers. My mother. My father. My uncle. Oh, my cousin. My aunt. Grandma and grandpa. The dog. The other dog. The people next door. Bob from accounting. I weep. Oh, how I weep. So much drama.
Is everybody with us? Are we going too fast for you? Look, there are a lot of these stories, and it can get confusing. Antigone comes after Oedipus Rex and Oedipus Apollonius chronologically, but Sophocles wrote it first as a continuation of Seven Against Thebes, an earlier play by Aeschylus. Maybe we should quickly review that, lest you, our audience, have the feeling that you are coming in the middle.
Hello? Hi, excuse me.
A messenger approaches.
So, Seven Against Thebes. It is a story about the battle of the Argive army led by Tony and the army of Thebes led by Ernie. See, what happens is, after Oedipus blinds himself, he's like, Ernie, Tony, come here. And Ernie and Tony are like, yeah, Pops, we're right here. And he's like, well, I couldn't see you. He's like, Ernie, Tony, why don't you guys just take turns being king? And Ernie and Tony are like, what? How is that going to work? And it's like, you know, Tony, you're king of Thebes for a year, then Ernie's king for a year, then Tony again, then Ernie, you know, you take turns. And they're like, I guess.
What could possibly go wrong?
But after ruling for 1 year, Ernie is like, fuck that, I refuse to step down.
Ooh.
So Tony's like, whatever, I'm gonna start my own army and take the throne by force. So there's this big war and everything. And Tony kills Ernie, Ernie kills Tony.
This family, for Christ's sakes.
But Ernie's army wins the war, and that's how Creon becomes king.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the play.
Oh.
It won first prize at the Festival of Dionysus.
But not as best play, as a special event.
Anyway, that's everything you need to know.
Thank you very much. We're sorry, we don't have any small bills on us right now.
I hate this play.
And so, victory has come to Thebes, golden city of chariots. The wars are all behind us now, so let us forget the bloodshed and dance in honor of Dionysus. But wait, who approaches? It is Lord Creon, king of this land, son of Menecius, brother of Jocasta, brother-in-law of Oedipus, also uncle of Oedipus, of Antigone, of Ismene, of Tony and Ernie, blah, blah, blah.
What's that you were saying?
Blah, blah, blah.
My friends!
Noble Creon, ruler of Thebes.
That's what they call me. Well, my fellow Thebans, our ship of state, storm-tossed by the gods, is once again at peace, smooth sailing, and I have summoned you, because of all the good people of Thebes, you loyally honored the rule of Laius when he was king, and then when his own son, Oedipus, did transgress so horribly.
We know.
Still, you remained bastions of loyalty to Thebes. When twin brothers did perish by mutual slaughter and shared the guilt and shame of fratricide, I assumed the throne by kinship with the brothers dead. What a wonderful system! If I, entrusted with the guidance of the state, were to ignore the counsel of men such as yourselves, I would be the worst of rulers. Yet, should my affection for my friends outweigh my loyalty to the state, that would be even worse.
You are very wise indeed, Lord Creon.
Who giggled?
It was Fred.
Stone Fred to death.
Okay, we'll do it later. Please continue your fascinating speech.
Okay, well. With mighty Zeus as my witness, I pledge that I shall never countenance threat to the security of our city and its citizens, nor could I honor or befriend any man who poses such a threat, because Thebes, baby, is our bulwark and our strength. And so, I have announced my official policy regarding these two brothers, these sons, and also, as you know, half-brothers of Oedipus. First, there's Ernie. Ernie died a hero's death in defense of this city, making me king. Ernie, I like. He shall be buried properly in a fitting tomb with all the offerings that are sent below to accompany the very best and noblest of the dead.
Yay, Ernie! What a guy!
But the foul and despicable Tony,
Boo!
Tony, enemy of virtue, Tony, profaner of peace, his cursed body shall rot pitifully in the contaminant air, to be dined on savagely by cats and dogs.
Dogs and birds.
A gross spectacle of shame. Hello! My mind is made up.
Well, okay then.
I have appointed able guards to oversee the corpse. I only ask, good people of Thebes, that you refrain from sympathy with any who transgress from this edict. And while you're at it, sing my praises on the street and in the square, for after all, what could it hurt?
We will gladly and willingly obey, dear Creon, for we do not want you to kill us.
That would be the punishment indeed.
We think you're great and right about everything.
Thank you, my friends. You are very wise.
But wait, who approaches? It is one of your guards.
Speak, one of my guards.
My lord, as you can see, I am quite out of breath from the haste of my journey here. Though many times anxious thoughts delayed my progress and brought me to a halt, the voice inside saying,
You fool! You idiot!
Yes, thank you.
You are as good as dead, you idiot! How could you be so stupid? Stupid, 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 stupid!
Yes, that's what the voice inside was saying. But my spine was stiffened by resolve to come to you and tell my tale, my lord.
And what is this tale that causes such consternation?
Well, first, I want to assure you, my lord, that I played no role in this, nor did I see the man who did. Racked with distress and self-loathing.
Stupid idiot, moron, imbecile,
That's enough! Okay, thanks.
Continue.
schmuck.
My apologies. Great Creon. Bad news for it's cause long-winded.
Spit it out and be off with you.
My lord, someone, I know not who, some swine not fit to live, has betrayed your edict and sprinkled earth upon the flesh of Tony.
What?
And sprinkled earth upon the flesh of
Tony.
I heard it the first time.
A burial has been performed, and all the necessary rites.
What foul traitor would dare commit this crime against our people?
I do not know. When the morning watchman showed us what had happened, we felt a sinister tremor.
That's the worst kind of tremor.
There was no mark of a shovel, no trace of footsteps in the earth, no ruts of wagon wheels. There was no sign of predators, no rending of the flesh. The air was soon filled with recrimination. For, in theory, many of us could have done this thing. And yet none would confess, and no proof was available. Soon we agreed that the crime must be reported immediately to you. No monkey business. And straws were drawn, and I, poor foolish wretch that I am, was selected by fate to report these findings to you. So I am here, against both our will, stricken with pain at being the bearer of bad news. I place myself at your mercy, Creon, amid the inexplicable chaos of the gods.
The gods care not about that pitiful corpse when he had come to torch their temples, rend their linens, destroy their colonnades, and shake their seltzer.
Don't fly off the handle.
No. When first I assumed the throne, there were some citizens who begrudged my power, muttered secret criticisms of me, and refused to bear my authority cheerfully. These disgraceful men, I am convinced, bribed my guards to look the other way.
Oh, I promise you, Lord, by all I hold dear, no such bribery took place.
Your assurances are worth nothing.
Right, of course.
You know nothing, and I know everything.
Yes, good point.
Unless you find the party responsible for this burial and deliver him to me in haste, prepare to suffer extravagantly and at length until you scream and beg and plead for death's relief.
That's telling him.
Thank you, my lord, for your fairness and great wisdom. Yes, serving you is truly the honor of a lifetime. I shall return in all haste, great king, having ably fulfilled every detail of your honorable request.
What a nice guy.
Of all the wonders of the world, surely none is more wonderful than man, except, of course, woman. Even the relentless ocean yields to the prow of human ingenuity. Even mountains can be made mere scenery for the cities humanity constructs around itself, as if to spite its lessers. The birds, so free they fill the skies at will, the fish, haunting vast reaches of dark sea, the fierce pride of the lion, the noble canter of the horse, the stalwart shoulders of the bull, all resign themselves to the brilliance, the dominance, the spectacular opposable thumbs of the human. Only one greater force exists. Humanity can't stand in the late wind of death. And death is not simply the end of living, the failure of breath and heartbeat. Humans die when they betray themselves by breaking the laws they have constructed for their own survival. On the other hand, have you seen some of these laws? Oh, humanity, there you go again, always working both sides. You're good, you're evil, you're adorable. When your laws are kept, how proudly gleams your city. And when your laws are broken, oh boy, not good.
This way, pitiful criminal. Lord Creon will decide your fate.
What's this?
This is Antigone, poor wretched child of Oedipus, apprehended for foolishly transgressing Theban law. Out of our way, chorus, we go to the great Creon.
But wait, who approaches?
Could have seen that coming.
Excellent Creon, ruler of Thebes.
Hiya. Now then, why do I approach, as so thoughtfully indicated by the chorus, at this particular time and place?
My lord, here is the girl that committed the crime.
Not Antigone, poor wretched child of Oedipus. Explain!
Well, in his youth.
Not you!
Well, we were just standing here.
Quiet! You explain.
Well, it was like this. We went back to our post, quite mindful of our last conversation, sir, and we quickly swept away that soil that had been placed upon the corpse, leaving it to rot bare in the elements per your decree. We then repaired to a ridge, upwind, fearful of the inevitable stench. We sat there for some time in the blazing sun. Suddenly, we were besieged by great clouds of thick sand, as though kicked up in the air by 1,000 irate donkeys. And for some time, we were choked and blinded by the furies of the sandstorm. When it finally abated, there was Antigone. Upon seeing the body there exposed, she cried and screamed and cursed whoever had undone her careful work. She then lifted earth in her hands and with an urn of bronze crowned the corpse 3 times with threefold offerings of drink. And when we apprehended her, she did not resist nor deny the crime of either burial. Confession, case closed. And so I am all at once both happy and distressed, for to escape from peril oneself is very, very sweet indeed. Yet to think of the harm it will bring to another brings pain, alas. But such thoughts fade to insignificance, don't they? And probably naturally so compared to one's own reprieve. Well, have a nice day.
Well, do you confess?
Yes, I confess that.
Or do you deny that you have done these things?
I do not deny that I have done these things.
Were you aware that I had specifically forbidden such an act?
Of course I was aware. You said it over and over to everyone all day long.
And still, you dared to violate these laws.
You're damn skippy. For I follow the laws of Zeus and Justice who dwells with the gods below. So yes, I was aware of your little decree. I simply did not think you were quite stupid enough to try to repeal and replace Olympus by executive order.
The child reveals her savage heart, itself a legacy from Oedipus.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
The arrogance! I mean, that is really arrogant. You are a prisoner of your family's curse.
And yet how free I feel. The only citizen of Thebes who dares pronounce what's top of every mind. Creon is weak.
Speak for yourself. Some of us have to live around here.
We'll see who's weak when you die for your cowardly crimes.
Crimes? Perhaps. If you say so, you're the king. But cowardice? No. For should you accuse me of cowardice, then no kidding, Creon, I will freak out.
Get the popcorn.
A coward hides in the darkness, conceals her identity. A coward denies her act when questioned. A coward lacks the courage to face her destiny.
She's right. That's what a coward is.
Whereas I fully own my act and state it plainly. I provided my brother, slain in warfare, with burial, as indicated by the gods, that his soul may enter their world as per their wishes.
What about your other brother, Ernie? Does it not dishonor Ernie to honor Tony? Does it not dishonor this city, which he had planned to raid and pillage? Honor the patriot, I decree. Dishonor the traitor.
Lord Death demands burial rites for traitor and patriot alike. And who knows if our notions of what is patriotic and what is traitorous seem quite so clear to Hades.
There is a difference between good and evil.
There is a difference between acting and scenery chewing, asshole.
Scofflaw,
Usurper,
irritant,
tyrant,
antagonist,
Antigone,
Ismene.
another secret serpent lurking in my home. All these years I never suspected I was raising a two-headed snake, destined to rise in rebellion against me. Now then, Ismene, were you complicit in this burial?
No,
No, see? Kill me, let her go.
I was not complicit. I acted independently.
What?
The plan was mine and mine alone.
No. Creon, she is lying for my sake. In fact, she refused to help, and had she offered to help later, I would not have accepted it.
Then Ismene shall not be spared, for she knew of your plan and failed to tell me.
Right.
Shit.
Guard!
But wait.
Not necessary. Imprison both of these fiends. Their fate shall soon be decided.
Yes, sir.
And so it begins. The march. The march of death. Listen, friends. That's the way it goes. Where the gods have once been angered, the house is shaken for 100 generations, like a tidal wave of shame, crashing on the head of every child. How do you like that? Let's face it, the misfortunes which befall the children of Oedipus are no coincidence, as anyone familiar with these plays can tell you.
Yeah, hi. Me again.
A messenger approaches.
All right. So, Oedipus at Colonus is the last play Sophocles wrote, but chronologically it comes before Antigone and after Oedipus Rex. So at the start of the play, Oedipus is already freaked out about the whole mommy-daddy thing. He's blinded himself, and he's gone into exile. So his daughter Antigone is leading him around. They get to Colonus, a tiny village outside of Athens. But the townspeople are like, hell no, get that sick bastard out of here. And Oedipus is like, oh, come on, don't be like that. And then his Mamie shows up, and she's like, Ernie's king of Thebes now, and Tony's planning something weird, and Creon went and spoke to some oracle, and now he wants to kill you and bury you in Thebes because your burial place will be protected by the gods. And Oedipus is just like, you know what? Ernie, Tony, Creon, they can all just go to hell. I'm staying here in Colonus. It's my kind of town.
Only 20 minutes from Midtown Athens.
Now Theseus, the king of Colonus, comes out, and he talks to Oedipus, and suddenly they're like best friends or something. Oedipus is like, I have an idea. I'll be buried here in Colonus, and that way the gods will protect you. And Theseus is like, nice. But then Creon shows up, and he tries to kidnap Oedipus and his daughters. But the townspeople are just like, get the hell out of here. Then Tony shows up, and Oedipus is like, whatever. And Antigone tries to talk some sense into everybody, but they're all like, shut up, Antigone. So Oedipus dies, he's buried in Colonus, and Antigone's just like, well, I guess I'll have to go back to Thebes and try to stop this war by myself.
What happens next?
Are you kidding me? Antigone is next. The play, Antigone?
Just tell us what happens to the chorus.
They drop dead from not tipping.
We'll get you next time. We go now to the home of Creon, where the king seeks an audience with his son, Herman.
My son.
My father.
My scion.
My progenitor.
My blood.
My loins.
No, you would be...
No, I just hurt my loins jumping up right then.
Herman.
Yes, Daddy.
I trust, my son, that you have heard of my ruling against your fiancée, who is also your cousin, Antigone. But you don't mind. It doesn't bother you a bit, because I'm your father, and you love me so much.
Precisely correct, Father. You know I can't be mad at you.
Aw, Herman.
Oh, Papa.
We are the normal ones in the family.
Truly, Father, no woman, no marriage, nothing can ever mean as much to me as your approval.
Oh, you see, this is why men pray to get sons like this. It is wise, my son, when considering the pleasures of women, and don't get me wrong, there are pleasures.
Oh boy, are there pleasures.
It is always necessary to retain good sense. Conjugal comforts are fleeting. In my case, very fleeting. And women, though pretty, are evil reptiles, hell-bent on our destruction.
Dadams, you know I lack the wisdom and experience to judge your wisdom and experience.
There is a son.
He's so handsome.
I only wish that all the citizens of Thebes could know you and love you as I do.
Well, do you mean to say that I am not loved by all the citizens of Thebes?
Oh, no, of course not, Pippy Pop. Your people love you, even those who secretly whisper criticisms.
Well, yes, but these secret criticisms...
Well, surely you've heard it all before. Sympathy for Antigone does abound in the city, and naturally the people grieve for her and say she is undeserving of dreadful early death as punishment for an essentially noble deed.
Do you mean to
say?
No,
not I, but others. My point is that even those citizens extol your total awesomeness.
Oh, I would still prefer that no criticisms were made.
I suppose that in your wisdom, you could arrange that. It might be clever, and therefore, surely you've thought of it already, to demonstrate for the populace how a great man's thinking can evolve. How wisest is the ruler who can change his mind, perhaps by reversing some prior decree. As a random example, were you to show mercy on Antigone?
What? Never!
Of course, never! Yeah, But for the sake of argument, if you did, that would show the citizens of Thebes that you are capable of reflection, growth, compassion. It would render you immune to condemnation.
It would, huh? What do you think, Chorus?
My lord, despite his tender years, Herman makes some excellent points.
Oh, really? Well, that was a test. How easily manipulated do you think I am? Are we now to take instruction from callow youth?
His point of view has merit. Naturally, as the fruit of your loins, Herman is unusually wise.
He is an unusually wise loin fruit.
A wise king's rule is guided by his people's will.
You're on thin ice, kid.
After all, my very wise, handsome father...
Enough! I see through your deceptions. Everything you say is on her behalf. Alas, my sons know better than the loathsome spawn of Oedipus, a coward who fawns on womanhood and sheds his manly gown.
No, I'm wearing my manly gown. Antigone loves me in it.
Pathetic.
I stand here in my gown of manhood with a warning. Condemn Antigone to death, and you condemn me too.
Are you threatening me?
No, I'm threatening myself. Let her go, or the kid gets it.
You don't have the guts.
I'll show you the guts, you big jerk.
Kids, are we right?
It's not the disagreement, it's the deception.
The apple falls far from the tree.
The bitterer the butter, the bitterer the batter.
Good Creon has chosen. Antigone shall die.
I shall not kill the girl, nor have her killed. I shall shut her in a cave, far away, fortified with guards, escape impossible, and provide food to satisfy the right, absolve the state of Thebes of bloody guilt, and leave her to a pitiable lifetime, praying to Hades, the only god she loves.
Ah, love, most powerful of forces. Love, conqueror of men. Love, destroyer of dynasties. Love, demolisher of cities. Love, disemboweler of lions.
Look out! I think I see love coming now.
Lose your pluck and shed your pride. Love will kick your luck aside. You can't run and you can't hide. Everyone who tried has died.
Ah,
Love, most potent of poisons. Love, counterpoint to reason.
Love, corrupter of the innocent.
Love, motive of the guilty.
love. Who needs it? Fat.
Here I am, fellow citizens of my beloved native land. Look at me a minute. These eyes gaze for the last time upon the light of day, upon every proud edifice, is it edifice? Of Thebes, the rush of wind through the branches of olive trees, the careworn faces of my friends. My fate is sealed. The wedding is off. Cancel the flowers. Unbook the band. Hurl the cake into the sea. I shall be the bride of death.
Poor Antigone.
You mock me, chorus. Why? Why mock me now to my face when you could mock me behind my back in like 5 minutes? For that is how it is done. Why not allow me these precious final moments on these streets that I have known since childhood?
We're sorry. We feel for you. Really. You pay the continuing price of your father's guilt.
Well, now you touch my bitterest distress. Renew my anguish at my father's fate. I grieve the curse upon my mother's bed, the doomed incestuous union of my parents, to whose embrace I now return, unwed to any man, but forever bonded to the curse that is my family.
You can't pick your relatives.
My tomb and bridal chamber both.
Why is she still here? Get rid of her!
She's right in the middle of a speech.
I have more to say about my tomb and my bridal chamber.
We'd like to hear that.
Ah!
My tomb and bridal chamber both, the obscure hole in the earth for which I now depart. That is where I shall finally meet the many dead I love. I hope my arrival in the halls of Hades will please my father and my mother and my brothers. I look forward to informing them that the people approve of what I've done. And so my march of death continues. Immediate victim of the ancestral gods, lost princess of Thebes, last in the line of Oedipus. That's all, folks.
Do not allow the gate to hit you, whereupon the gods did split you.
Poor Antigone,
Consigned to suffer like so many before her.
Danae, too, was sealed in a tomb of bronze.
Despite nobility of birth, the golden seed of Zeus, destiny is inescapable.
Lycurgus, son of Dias, that too was no picnic.
Imprisoned in stone,
deafened toward death by his own madness.
For the small crime of mocking the revels of Dionysus.
You see, even those kissed by Olympian lips may suffer and perish in the crucible of fate, so don't feel bad.
Oh, and this will really cheer you up.
Did you ever hear the one about the king's new consort, sick with hatred, who ripped out the eyes of both his sons and splattered with bloody hands the palace walls? That's a good one.
She too spent her remaining days inside a living tomb, trapped in the eternity of her agony. Holy shit, that's depressing.
Talk about suffering.
I liked it.
But wait, who approaches? It is Tiresias, blind prophet of Thebes.
Don't help me, I'm okay.
Tiresias, my friend and counsel, what brings you here?
The bus. I transferred at the Temple of Apollo.
You should have taken the Tanagra road to the house of Pindar.
My lord, you must heed my prophecy.
I have never doubted your word. Your insights have guided well our city and its people, as far back as the Theban plague and the curse of Laius.
Wait, this is getting confusing. A messenger approaches.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? So, chronologically, Oedipus Rex is the first of the surviving Theban plays by Sophocles. At the beginning of the play, Oedipus is king of Thebes. He became king by answering the riddle of the Sphinx. It's tricky, but he's a smart guy, and he won the hand of the queen Jocasta. Now, there's this big plague and everything, and Oedipus's brother-in-law, yeah, you, Creon, he goes to see the oracle at Delphi, and the oracle at Delphi tells him, well, you never solved the murder of King Laius, so boom, there's your curse. What does Oedipus do? He calls this guy.
Don't help me, I'm okay.
Tiresias is like, I know the answer, but if you think I'm going to tell you, you're crazy. Oedipus totally loses his shit, and Tiresias is like, okay, I'm sorry.
You yourself are the criminal you seek.
Oedipus is like, what? That doesn't make sense. And Tiresias is like, you ain't seen nothing yet, you patricidal motherfucker. Now Jocasta's like, don't worry about it. Prophecies are bullshit. An oracle once told Laius that he'd be killed by his son, but he was killed by some bandits at a crossroads. Oedipus is like, oh shit, I killed a guy at a crossroads once. So he puts it all together. Turns out, he's adopted. Jocasta hangs herself. Oedipus blinds himself, and the chorus closes in a song.
That's showbiz.
And now, Lord Creon, you are once again on the razor's edge of peril.
Tell me.
All right, I was sitting listening to the birds whose joyous melodies were suddenly silenced by a savage cacophony of shrieks and cries. I understood at last that these birds of song were ripping and tearing one another, talons bloodied and feathers shorn.
Yuck!
Fearfully, I began the rites of burnt offering at the altar, but Hephaestus failed me, and instead of flame, there was only a smoky spurt of slime.
That's disgusting.
Our city is ill with sickness brought by your policy. Our hearths and altars are stained by wild dogs and birds who have gorged themselves on the rotting corpse of the son of Oedipus. Deep red clouds of doom hang heavy overhead, and birds of death encircle Thebes like a foul black crown of corruption. The waters are blood, the air is smoke, the horses are trampling people for no reason. The marketplace is charging extra fees for shipping. The physicians are dancing naked in the square, and the courtesans are building a windmill. The pigs are eating all the figs. Decree proper burial for the son, and release the daughter from her tomb.
Ah, Tiresias, my friend, your words have changed my mind.
I knew they would, my lord.
My mind is changed.
Of course, wise Creon.
Yes, my mind is changed about considering you a friend and never doubting your word.
But my lord.
Don't but my lord me, sightless villain. So, you too make me the target of your treachery. Some scoundrel surely has offered you gold to perpetrate these fraudulent claims and take cruel advantage of the trust you've cultivated with me all these years. Well, you and your mysterious benefactor have failed, blind seer, for I am only dug in deeper. Zeus himself could not dissuade me now. Clever though you may be, mad wizard, you fail fatally in foul folly when you proffer prophecies for profit.
Seashells down by the seashore.
You would do well to mark my words. I swear I speak them only for your benefit. The gods themselves intimate what shall befall you. A son, begotten of your own loins, shall repay in death the living death of the girl you keep locked within the earth while still alive. Never again shall the gods accept the prayers or sacrifices of Thebes. Never again shall you survey the smiles of your sanctuary. Your citizens, your son, you're screwed.
Tiresias, blind prophet of Thebes, has spoken.
And at length.
Well, that was a fine how you do.
I confess, Chorus, I am troubled.
His prophecies have never proven false.
I know. My pride's too great to bring myself to yield, but if the prophet's words are true, then not to yield could hurt my pride still more.
It is a source of pride to take good advice.
All right, then. All right, good citizens of Thebes. What would you have me do? Advise me, and I shall...
Yes?
I shall yield.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Bark like a dog.
No.
Fine. Release the maiden from her living tomb and give her brother's corpse a proper burial.
You know what? I'll bark like a dog.
You know what you must do.
I must surrender.
The gods right now design our suffering.
All right. What the hell? Okay.
Go then.
Okay, my friends, come with me. Each take an axe or shovel. Together we shall dig her out and dig him in. And knowing now the wishes of the gods and the commandments of prophecy, I myself shall free Antigone, bow to her in gracious apology, and dance at her wedding to my son.
Hooray! You go and get a head start, my lord, while we stay here a moment and deliver an ode in praise of Dionysus.
That's a good idea. Ah, my friends, I feel free. My heart is like a tweeting bird. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la. I'm a wonderful guy.
Dionysus, god of many names, but we'll just call you
Dionysus, god of wine and theater, son of Zeus and scion of Thebes. Dionysus. Okay, you know who we're talking about. Dionysus, god of many virtues. Torches flare on the double hills where nymphs of Iacchos are eager in their Bacchic dance.
Beside Castalia's flowing stream,
amid the ivy-gowned mountains of Nysa, you are hailed and honored. Divine Bacchanalian whoop-de-doo extols your glory on the road to Thebes. Oh yeah, Thebes, that reminds us. Dionysus, god of many blessings. Thebes, your most beloved of cities, home of your mother, Persephone, and your other mother, Semele, and your sister, Artemis, and your brother, Ares, and your other brother, Apollo. We're going to stop listing them now because it's getting late and we're still on the A's. Dionysus, god of many siblings, the shadow of plague is upon us. The city and citizens of glorious Thebes, again, really, let's hear it for Thebes, are in the grip of horrors too horrible to detail in an ode to your greatness. But it's bad, Dionysus, it's bad. Help us out, we're begging you, please.
Please!
Oh, the horrors I have seen. Oh, how I fear for Thebes. Oh, how I weep for its people. Oh, boy, I don't feel so good. Oh, hello, Chorus.
Hello, guard. No time to talk. We journey far from here to assist good Creon in the burial of Tony, son of Oedipus, and to watch in admiration and relief as he releases Antigone, daughter of Oedipus. You probably know the whole story from Rocky Tomb of Wrongful Vengeance.
Wait. You're a little late.
There was a long line at the hardware store.
I've seen terrible things, my friends. Once, so recently, in fact, Creon was a man to envy. It was he, after all, who rescued this land from its enemies and ruled with honor and was rewarded with wealth, respect, and family. Well, now that's all gone, or might as well be. It's better to be a joyful peasant than a miserable king.
Let's not get hysterical.
Herman is dead.
No, and by whose hand?
His own. He was enraged by his father's decree.
The prophecy of Tiresias comes true.
Straws were drawn, and I, luckless, unfortunate that I am,
Dipshit, moron,
was selected to deliver this terrible news to Eurydice, wife of Creon, mother of poor Herman.
We haven't seen her yet.
I approached the palace with great apprehension.
We don't blame you. But wait, who approaches? It is Eurydice, Queen of Thebes.
I was deep in prayer when suddenly I was stirred by a terrible sensation of gathering dread.
You might want to sit down for this.
I'm well acquainted with Greek tragedy. Tell me what you know.
Dear lady, I shall tell you the whole truth, whatever agony it may bring. For it's no favor to comfort with words that in time would prove untrue.
Then speak.
For after all, did I not speak when...
Stop stalling! Spit it out already!
Dear lady, I accompanied your husband Creon across the vast expanse of plain beyond the gate of Thebes. Eventually, we came upon the unpitied corpse of Tony. We prayed to Hecate and to Pluto. Then, with pure waters, we washed the body, or what was left of it, with fresh cut branches from nearby trees. We burned the scant remains and raised a proper burial mound of the fallen soldier's native soil, and an urn of bronze with threefold offerings of drink, allowing the son of Oedipus, finally, passage to the afterlife.
So far, so good.
We then proceeded toward the rocky living tomb of Antigone, when, approaching, we heard cries of grief. Grief! The voice was not Antigone's. And Creon said,
I fear now this is the unluckiest journey I've ever made. I believe that is the voice of my son, Herman. I cannot bear to look. Hasten, my friends, to the fissure in the tomb, and tell me if it is my son.
So we obeyed. Within the deepest reaches of the rocky tomb, we saw her there, the daughter of Oedipus, hanging lifelessly from a noose made of her garment. And there was Herman, with his arms around her waist, weeping and wailing for the crimes of his father and the loss of his intended bride. Not far away, the voice of Creon.
What's taking so long?
At once, the king entered the tomb and surveyed the sorry scene.
Herman, my poor child, are you insane to have broken in here?
Cursed father, I spit in your face.
And Herman drew his sword, intent on slaying his father.
Remind you of anyone?
But Creon dodged the attack. Embarrassed at his failure and enraged by woeful circumstance, Herman, with tear-soaked eyes, did gaze upon his father ruefully before turning the blade on himself and plunging forth rivers of blood.
No!
Ow! And in his dying moments, Herman enclosed his arms around Antigone, drawing close to him his intended bride, now united in death, as his blood and hers flowed together.
It's pretty much the same blood.
So there it is, my lady, the whole sad story.
I see.
That was strange.
Eurydice's gone back into the palace, not saying a word.
Perhaps to shield her grief from public view.
Grief repressed in silence may be worse than loud lament. And I am sworn to protect the family of Creon. I'd better go in and make sure she's okay.
Well, these tragic events have really put a damper on things. Some people just can't get a break. But wait, who approaches? It is Creon, ruler of Thebes, and he looks awful.
I'm sad. I grieve for the tragic mistakes of my bankrupt heart. Slayer of my own son, so young and fine and now so dead.
Really, really dead.
I grieve for you, my son, your life abruptly snuffed by my stupidity and vanity.
Ah, poor Creon, you recognize the truth too late.
I grieve for the tragedy of all humanity. Truly, nothing worse than this could ever be.
Well, don't speak too soon.
I go into the palace now to see my wife, Eurydice. Her waiting arms are now my only cause to live.
Eurydice is dead, and by her own hand.
I'm speechless.
Then be quiet.
She stabbed herself, my lord. I'm so sorry. In the heart, with your favorite sword. Upon learning of the horrific events in Antigone's tomb. This is difficult, sir. She died cursing your name. Yeah, I wish I could spare you the details, sir, but you asked.
No, we didn't.
She raised her fist to the sky and wished for all the rage of the gods to come crashing down upon your head, instantaneously pulverizing you like... I wrote this down, sir. Like a rancid excremental smear ground into the sand beneath the heel of a better man. Whew. So, my one regret is marrying him rather than killing him. I'm finished, sir.
I am finished. A king, but a ruined, cursed king. Endowed with wisdom only after kingly arrogance has caused the deaths of all he loved.
Yep, it's a tragedy.
Please, my guard and servant, hasten with your blade and run me through. Release me from my agony right now.
Wait, we'd like to say something.
Say something? You've been saying things all night.
No, listen, this is important. We've had enough death today.
What?
After chaos and confusion, we have come to the conclusion that we've had enough death today.
Yeah.
We're approaching the finale, and considering the tally, it's a massacre, a scandal, and it's more than we can handle. So let's cool it with the death, okay?
Okay. There has been a lot of death, I'll say.
Hey, it looks like everyone forgot about me. I mean, I understand this plot is not about me, and we haven't really heard a lot about me, but examine everything you've got about me, and it's fitting you should wonder where I went. Was I imprisoned, then released? Did I survive? My pain increased. Am I alive? Am I deceased?
She has a point. We wonder where she went.
Well, if my story has no ending, fine. These endings are the worst. And if my future is not yet written, who's to say my fate is cursed? Even if my life is doomed, perhaps I ought to live it first. I've had enough death for a while.
Smile!
Yes, I've had enough death. And my goddamn genetic line. It's finally Ismanie's turn to shine. I'm going to Hollywood.
Well, that was nice. I'm glad this all worked out for someone.
But wait.
I am Antigone, daughter of Oedipus. Yes, if there is a curse on my family, then I am heir to that curse. But why should that have meant so much? I might have honored my parents' suffering far better with my happiness than my tears. But then what of my own suffering? My brother, Tony, might have counseled me to sacrifice his happiness for mine, but on the other hand, he killed Ernie, so what are we really talking about here? I am Antigone, daughter of Oedipus. All right. So maybe there's a curse on my family, but who are we kidding? There's also been a lot of bad decision making. Were you forced by powers beyond your control to unknowingly commit horrific acts? That's terrible. Do you know what's not going to help at all? Gouging your eyes out. Gouging your eyes out. So that your daughter has to lead you around for an entire play. It is selfish. And it is stupid. What a drama queen! It feels really good to say this. I am Antigone, daughter of Oedipus. Believe me. I know what I'm talking about. We all have our tragedies, but tragedy can connect us, warn us against arrogance, show us who we are, and teach us how to help each other heal.
We're ill-equipped to grapple with the fact that we exist. We'll never beat the odds, and yet despite them, we persist. Not for the glory of the state, which varies with the season. Not for the gods we celebrate, for some ungodly reason. Not for accounts left open in the game of getting by, but simply for the hope to be together till we die. Together when the fates are kind, together when they sting.
We're mortal, fearful, proud, and blind. It's just a family thing.
Our lives are full of suffering. We weep with every breath.
And even so, we've had enough death.